All right, so I've already printed I printed 4 of these parts on my Bamboo printer, and we had some issues in terms of the fit. So they're a little loose on the bottom. So I went ahead and did a modification, and I'm reprinting now. So I went into this right here, and instead of doing a kerf divided by 2 for this offset, I went ahead and made it kerf. So it should squeeze a little bit more on the sides, and that should give us a little bit better grip onto our material. So we're going to test that. So here in about 30 minutes, I'll have 2 new prints going, or 2 new parts, and we'll test that, and we'll see if the fit on those are better. These fit together, but again, not thrilled with the with when you just put a single pin in there. It's a little loose, and really putting the double pin, if you have a stack of 4, they don't hold together. They just fall apart. If you just put 2 together, they sort of stay, but even then, it's a little off. So we're going to make that adjustment and move forward. But until we get those done, we're going to move on and we're going to make some more pieces. So I'm going to go back to my Lego master file. I'm going to make this adjustment here to kerf. So I know that I've made that change on my other piece, and we'll see if that works out. And again, we'll just keep updating that master file as we need. Right now we're going to learn how to make a parametric Lego so we can make a bunch of different blocks or bricks with one file to start with. So save this one. We'll do a file save as. Let it upload finish here. And we're going to call this parametric Lego. And now this time we're going to essentially just build a 1 by 1, and then we'll use a rectangle pattern to make whatever part we need from that 1 by 1. So got our parametric Lego going. We're going to turn off this sketch, start a new drawing, and we're just going to do a 1 by 1 here. So it's going to be a Lego base by Lego base. We're going to extrude by partial. We're going to make a construction line across and make a circle for our stud. Dimension that. Extrude that. And this is the start of our parametric Lego. So we're going to go ahead and just save that as is. And now we're going to move on to our next plate. So if we look at our parts list from before, you can see that we've done our 1 by 2. Let's go ahead and make a 1 by 6, and then eventually we're going to need a 1 by 4 as well. Actually, let's do the 1 by 4 first, then we'll move to 1 by 6, and then we'll show how to make the 2 bys as well. So at this point we can do a rectangle pattern, but we're going to do a file save as. Actually, let's just do it right here in our parametric Lego, and then we'll do a save as once we set our parameters. We're going to add 2 more parameters to this. Let's add a width. This is going to be a unitless quantity, and we're going to start with 1. So number of studs on the width. And then we're going to add a length. Again, this is a unitless quantity, and we're going to do a 4. This is number of studs length. And now when we do our rectangle pattern, we're going to rectangle pattern some features, and we want these 2 features that we're going to rectangle pattern. And we're going to pick our axes as this one and this one. And we're going to move this way and this way. Let's change this to a 2 so we know which one we're dealing with. So you can see there it is. We're going to do spacing. Spacing on this is going to be Lego base. Spacing on this is going to be Lego base. This is only going to be a 1 in this direction this time, and this is going to be a 4 this time. But instead of using actual numbers, we're going to say length, and on this one we're going to say width, and then say OK. Now, we want it to join those together. So the question is why is it not joining those as one? So see how those are independent? They should be all, they shouldn't be individual bodies. They should merge together into one unit. So let's figure out why it's not happening. If we pick bodies, we just select the body. And that didn't work either. Well, this is, always fun when you're trying to figure things out as you go. I mean, I guess at this point we could just take all of these and then merge them together using the join tool. So we could do that. We'll just use that as a workaround. Sometimes those will just fuse together. I'm not quite sure why they're not, but that's okay. We're going to go with it here. Here's the great thing now, is you can go in and change parameters and literally just change the width to 2 and let's say the length to 6. And when you say OK, you make a big piece here, but then we want to select. So our target body, we'll pick this one, and then our tool bodies, we're going to pick all the rest and say OK, and now we've merged it together to make a 2x6 if we need to. So this is really kind of nice to quickly make the top part of your sketch or of your part. And then the other thing we can do is we can go back in time and add a chamfer on this of kerf times 2. And then when we do our rectangle pattern, we can also rectangle pattern that feature. So we're going to hold down Control and select that feature as well. And now all of our stud tops have a chamfer on them, which is kind of handy. But this is how you make a parametric Lego. So we'll save that. And then at this point we can do a save as, and we can call this plate 2x6. And you can see we've started our 2x6 plate. And go back to this and we can change our, sorry, we don't need to go back to that. We can go back to our parameters and change our width to 1, 4. Say OK. Now it doesn't like to combine. We just redo it. There it is. Because we had selected all the other parts that don't exist now, the other bodies. So now they do exist. And then we'll just do a file, save as, and we'll call this plate 1x4. And now we should have that file there. So we can create a lot of our parts really quickly with that, starting with that parametric Lego file, and then making your adjustment to those two parameters, and then do a save as, and now we can work on the underside of the part. So next phase of this is go to the underside. We're going to project, so P, project all of those things there. We'll do our rectangle pattern. Again, we want those to be construction lines. So if you forget, you just go back and click. And then we can make them tangent. Go to offset. O is your hotkey for that. And remember, we're going to change this to kerf on this new offset and try that. We're going to do our line, going to be a construction line to go all the way here. You can turn all these into construction lines if you'd like, which I highly encourage. And then we're going to create some circles that are construction circles. They're going to now we can set these equal to each other or just make them tangent to the other circle as well. It's usually faster. And then we can do offsets. Again, these are not going to be construction. And we're going to make this curve times 5/4. And then could, when you do offsets for the next ones, and it's looking for a dimension, you can just click on, usually you can click on this dimension, but it's not liking that. The other thing that you could do is you could, since you've dimensioned this first one, you could essentially create some circles on these and then use the equals constraint to say that these are equal and that this is equal to this one. And now they're all the same size, pressing into those parts. Finish the sketch, extruding this, going negative hole depth, and then doing a chamfer on these here of kerf times 2. And we got to get these here, hold down control, and then select these as well. Got them all now. Hit OK. And we're going to save that. Now, how do we make a 1x6? Well, pretty straightforward. As long as I don't freeze here. So we've saved this as a 1x4. Now, how do we make this into a 1x6? Pretty straightforward. We do a save as. It's going to be plate 1x6. And then I'm just going to change a few things. I just have to adapt this a little bit. So I can go into modify. I'm going to change that parameter to the length of 4 to 6. Say OK. And then I added a couple things down here, but I'm just going to go back in time and make a few adjustments. So I'm going to make an adjustment here. My tool bodies, I'm going to hold down control and I'm going to select these two as well. Say OK. I made it 6 long, but if you look on the underside now, it only does these. So I'm going to go back to this original sketch and I'm going to remove this tangent constraint. So I'm going to delete that one and I'm going to move this all the way to the outside here and make this now tangent to this one. Now that's not what I wanted to do actually. So you can see I grabbed the wrong one. So I want this right here, the one that's a construction line. So I've grabbed that now and made it tangent to the circle. So that looks good. I can make these into construction lines. And now, instead of doing the first one and doing all the subsequent ones with sketches, I'm going to show you what I could have done originally. This is essentially just another rectangle pattern. So if I set up the first one, I can then do a rectangle pattern of just the circle. And then this direction, this one I only want 1. So this is going to be width minus 1. You think about it. Or, I'm sorry, just width. What just happened there? Don't know what happened. Try it again. So this dimension is just width. So it's only going to be one of them. So you can see it changed to that. The spacing is going to be Lego base. And the spacing here is going to be Lego base. And this distance is going to be, there should be 5 of them going this direction. And now spacing. And so you can see that these are the ones we're going to remove, but we want to do 5 at Lego base. Now, instead of 5, this is actually length minus 1, because we have 1 less than length on this. And, oh, I think it did that rectangle pattern. There's the first one. I'm going to delete that one. I don't know what happened, but we'll get rid of that. And there we go. So our rectangle pattern should be the one that's there. There's all of our spots on this. And then when you finish the sketch, we go to extrude. We're just going to deselect those. Say OK. Check our chamfers and just add chamfers to each of these. And there we have it. There's our 1x6. So just modifying that 1x4 pretty quickly gets us our 1x6 plate. So once these 1x2s finish printing up that I've got going, I can now test those, make sure that that distance is good. If I have to make adjustments, I can make some quick adjustments here. But, oh, one thing that we forgot to do on the 1x4 plate and this, we didn't check our overall, we didn't inspect this, and this is too wide. We forgot to do our face offset at the very end. So let's go ahead and take care of that. So we've got an offset by kerf around the whole thing. So we're going to do a negative kerf for our air gap. And now the inside of this, or the outside, should be 0.937. And the inside, if I were to measure that, it's 0.568, which again, I can go back to my original, and there's my 0.937, and there's my 0.568. Now, do I have a drawing for a 6 long? No. Could I do that? Sure. I'm not going to worry about it. Again, I think once you get the hang of what you're doing, you don't need to do your checks on everything. Just every now and then give it a check. Make sure you're good. Again, you can check that the center spacing is good. So you want that to be 0.945. I'm going to flip it over. Check this. This should be 0.379. And then if we do between centers, that should be 0.945, which is Lego base for us. So this all looks good. I'm pretty happy with the 1x6. I'm going to reopen the 1x4 and show you the mess up here. Again, this is 0.945, and this distance here is 3.78. So when we look at the original sketch, you can see that it should be this and this. So we're 8 thousandths too long here, and 8 thousandths too long here because we have not done our face offset by kerf. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Put that together and do a negative kerf on these. There we go. We've got our 1x4 and our 1x6 taken care of. Again, we're knocking out parts left and right now. So there's a white 1x4, we've got a white 1x6 plate, we've got a plate that's orange that's 1x6, and now we're just going to keep moving through our 2x's. So the next video we'll work on the 2x's, again using parametric modeling to do a 2x2. So we're going to do a 2x2, a 2x3, and a 2x4. And we'll kind of start with a file and then work our way up. All right, everybody, that's going to conclude this video. Again, stop watching, start making. Now go build something. Have a great rest of the day.